Mario Hezonja, he is one of the most highly touted international prospects. Gave him a 70 with 9 badges. They labeled him an aggressive scorer. He definitely can score. He likes to throw it down in transition. So he can get up a little bit. Some people, I think I heard someone say like a poor man's Manu Ginobili. I could see why they would say that. I don't think he has as much dexterity off the dribble as Ginobili, so I would hold off on something like that. I actually did see one that said Rex Chapman. I thought that was probably a closer comparison than the poor man's Manu Ginobili. Maybe some people might say, well, Rex Chapman is a poor man's Manu Ginobili or whatever. I don't know. But Hezonja doesn't, you know how it is when the guys play overseas, they get erratic minutes. But he's from Croatia, 6'8", 200 pounds, shooting guard, small forward, good prospect for sure. Draft Express lists him as the number 7 overall prospect in the entire draft. So they're definitely giving him some respect. I gave him some respect with the 70. Some people might think that's a little low, but you got to look at it too. You don't want to, like for me, I make draft classes every year, right? So last year's draft class was considered a very, very good one, right? So, I have Wiggins and Smart and Jabari Parker and Joel Embiid. Obviously, those guys are rated up close to 80 as a rookies because they were considered to be really good rookies. So this draft class is not considered to be anywhere near that good. So if I had a bunch of guys rated 79 and 78 and 77, that just for the if just because you're at the top of the draft class or with the top rookie, that means I have to make you almost an 80 or an 80. No, I gotta go by because they're gonna be playing against guys in the NBA, so I had to rate it accordingly. So this is Mario Hezonja, and he is a 70. Let's look at the next guy. Now, this next guy is, in my opinion, one of the most underrated guys in. Let's go back for a second. He's one of the most underrated guys to me in the draft. I think. I really believe that. Tyler Harvey. I'm gonna throw a name out when I'm doing this, and you guys are gonna probably lose your mind when I say this, but just listen to all of the words. 6'4", 185 pounds from Eastern Washington. Tyler Harvey can put it in the hole. I mean, this dude can shoot. And his release is so quick. He releases at the top of his jump. This dude he's one of the better shooters in college basketball. I would venture almost to say he might be the best shooter in college basketball. People don't know about him because he goes to Eastern Michigan. But if you think about it, he shot 41% from three-point range. And he took 9.6 threes per game. I mean, he's a shooter. I mean, the Draft Express, the scouting report on him, they said Tyler Harvey is one of the best shooter scorers you'll find. An absolutely lights out marksman who is liable to pull up off the dribble from half court if given even the slightest glimmer of daylight. If you look at the videos for Tyler Harvey, you will see exactly what they're talking about with that scouting report. Now, he's only rated 81st out of the top 100 Draft Express prospects, and most of that is because he's not a spectacular athlete. He's also hasn't really proved to be a really good playmaker, but he's more of a shooting guard than he pretty much is a shooting guard. I actually meant to change this because I had him as a point guard because he did handle the ball a lot, but I just don't think there's any way really. I won't say anyway, but I don't think he can play point guard in the NBA. I just think he's a shooter, scorer. That's what he should be doing. And I just changed this from a point guard to a shooting guard, and his overall rating went up to a 71 from a 68. That's really what the shooting guard is what it should be. I'm telling you, unless because he played for in a lesser school, he doesn't pan out. This guy can shoot. I'm not saying he'd be an NBA star or whatever, but I'm gonna tell you something, and this is where you guys are gonna flip when I say this. For me watching this dude, he looks like a poor man's Steph Curry. Yeah, I know. Call me crazy. Yeah, I know. But Steph Curry went to Davidson. All right, so this dude went to Eastern Washington. So okay, so about on the same level, right? What I believe that Curry has that this guy doesn't have. Curry is a ridiculous ball handler. I mean, one of the best ball handlers in the NBA. This guy doesn't handle the ball like Curry. Curry's an excellent passer. This guy doesn't pass like Curry. But this guy can shoot it on that same level. And he can get his shot off the dribble, which is what reminds me a little bit of Stephen Curry, because Curry's not just one of those guys that he's just a spot-up shooter. Curry can shoot off the dribble, spot up, whatever. However, this guy shoots the same way. I'm telling you, look him up. Look him up. One of my favorite and most underrated players to me in this upcoming draft, Tyler Harvey. Let's move on. No, we don't want to move on that much. Next guy, he is, let's see, who else am I ready to show right now? Kristaps Porzingis. Gave him a 70. And he got 8 badges, an offensive-minded 4. I had to go with this haircut. It's actually not exactly what he has. It goes off a little bit more to the sides or whatever, but the best I could do. Kristaps Porzingis is a 7-footer with good athleticism, really good length, actually a pretty decent shooter from the outside too. I wonder what's going to happen as his body begins to fill out more, because he's about 7 foot, 220 pounds right now. As he starts to fill out more, he could wind. They say he's a power forward, but and that definitely is how his game is. Even potentially even like a stretch four, but he loves to throw it down. This dude loves to slam it. Loves to slam it. He was in the 2014 draft, pulled out just at the end, right before the draft. I actually thought he was going to be in it, and ended up coming. I think I might even put him in my last draft class because I thought he was going to be in it. But he's only 19 years old, from Latvia, and I like him. I don't know about star potential or anything like that, but athleticism doesn't lie. If you look at him, the dude moves really well, and he's very long. They haven't measured the wingspan. I don't see any wingspan measurements for him on any of the sites, but he averages a block a game, 4.6 rebounds, which is not that great, but he only plays about 21 and a half minutes a game. That's all he played for ACB this year, or in the ACB league this year, and played about 21 in the Euro Cup. So not a great rebounder. Need to be a little bit more physical on that end, but I think he has the look of a stretch 4. I think he needs to get 3-point shooting a little bit better, but he's already shooting it pretty well. In Euro Cup this year, he made 46% of his threes, 2.3 attempts. Dropped off a bit in the ACB league, though, only made him about 34%. So I held him back on the threes a little bit because of that, but he can shoot it. He can make them. 55 and 65 is not great, but he can shoot them. I could see that potentially even going up. But I'll leave it right there for now. And I'm going to leave it right there for this episode of the Draft Class Updates. And look for another one tomorrow, you guys. Like I said, I appreciate you watching. God bless. Peace.